Murderbot Season 1 Episode 4 Ending Explained, Is It Still Alive? Murderbot had a few moments after being infected with the Battle Override module, during which it both recognized what had happened and determined that stopping it was the only option. Since the Battle Override module was almost finished downloading, Murderbot's sole opportunity to stop it from killing the humans in PreservationAux was to be killed. But as soon as it saw Mensa wouldn't shoot it, it took her rifle and shot itself in the chest. Murderbot shot itself in the chest, but it is offline and severely injured but not dead. Murderbot also shoots itself in the chest in all systems red to prevent the Combat Override module from taking control. When Murderbot awakens in its cubicle following major body repairs, the narrative abruptly jumps to the following chapter. Maintaining AUX removed the Combat Override module, had Murderbot fixed, and returned it to their habitat. In addition to saving Murderbot's life, the process allowed Gurathan, David Dastmalchian, to examine its systems during the SEC unit's outage. He identifies Murderbot as a rogue construct after finding the compromised governor module that makes it follow commands. In Episode 4, Murderbot's, Alexander Skarsgård, life was in jeopardy due to yet another cliffhanger conclusion in Apple TV Plus' Murderbot, and it's unclear if the SEC unit survived its hasty choice. In Murderbot Episode 3, after being ambushed by another SEC unit, Murderbot was attacked with a combat override module that compromised its system and would have caused it to murder the other Murderbot protagonists. In order to stop the hack from pushing it to kill PreservationAux members, Murderbot chose to shoot itself in the chest even if the combat override module obscured its traces. Although Murderbot is based on Martha Wells's Murderbot Diaries books, we would typically have to wait a week to find out what happens to it. Although the Apple TV Plus series hasn't always been true to the novels, it has so far addressed the majority of the main plot points of all systems read. As a result, we may infer from the novellas what will happen next and what happens to Murderbot when it shoots itself in the chest. Additionally, Murderbot Episode 4 included a few new situations that needed more context than what the novels. Why did Murderbot shoot itself to save PreservationAux? Although Murderbot saved PreservationAux's life by shooting itself in the chest, this choice resulted in numerous problems later on. Since Murderbot has stated that it wants to kill people without distinction, some viewers might find it hard to comprehend why it would be prepared to give up its own life in order to stop the killing of people. The simplest explanation is that Murderbot detests being made to perform tasks, and it detests being made to commit murder even more. Shortly after describing the Combat Override module, Murderbot exclaims, "Fuck that," and expresses intense guilt for the Ganaka Pit massacre. Murderbot's decision to shoot itself makes sense just based on that. It did not want to lose control of its own body, nor did it want to commit another massacre and kill others. Though it won't acknowledge it right now, Murderbot also has a strong affection for PreservationAux members and wished to spare their lives. The best clients Murderbot has ever worked with are PreservationAux, who are also among the few people Murderbot has ever had a good relationship with. Although it may wish to murder people, it is not interested in killing these people. Why the other SEC unit wanted Murderbot to kill PreservationAux explained. Murderbot's realization that the other SEC unit wanted it to destroy PreservationAux itself was one of the more perplexing parts of Murderbot Episode 4. While waiting for Murderbot's Combat Override module, Pin Lee, Sabrina Wu, and Arata, Tatiana Jones, got a chance to kill the other SEC unit, which had a prime opportunity to kill both Mensa, Noma Dumaswini, and Rat T, Akshay Khanna. It appears that the other SEC unit intended Murderbot to murder PreservationAux in order to demonstrate the effectiveness of the Combat Override module and to provide it with a believable excuse for the carnage. For PreservationAux members were at Deltfall survey, and the other SEC unit needed to explain how they perished, so it refrained from killing them. When the company and Murderbot finally began its investigation, it would be clear that their deaths were caused by Murderbot killing them and then Murderbot killing itself. Alternatively, it would be unquestionably demonstrated that the Combat Override module was functioning and that it could rely on Murderbot to obey its orders by witnessing it destroying PreservationAux. In an attempt to enlist Murderbot in support of its owners, the other SEC unit had to ensure that the Combat Override module would enable Murderbot to comply.